What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out the Awesome Walter YouTube channel. If you're coming over from Channel Awesome, you just saw the top 5 best Dexter's Laboratory episodes. If you haven't seen that yet, I would suggest checking that out before watching this video here. I've been wanting to do that episode for a really long time. You know, way back when I did the top 5 best 90s Cartoon Network shows, I put Dexter's Lab at number 1. And this is one that I've just been saving for a special occasion. I put it up on Twitter to you guys, actually, and asked among this show and a couple others like Gargoyles and Pete and Keenan and Kel, which would you want to see a top 5 of most? And you guys voted for Dexter's Lab, so that's what we were talking about this week on Top 5. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be talking about the Ego Trip movie because that was a big part of the series that ended it in terms of the Genndy Tartakovsky era of the show anyway. And I wanted to definitely cover it, but since it's not an episode, I couldn't put it in the top 5 best episodes. So I wanted to talk about it here and just give you some of my thoughts on it. It's been a really long time since I've seen this movie. It's been years. I know they used to replay it on Cartoon Network quite a bit. And it's really fun. It's really different. It definitely has Genndy Tartakovsky's thumbprints all over it. And you can see a lot of influences that repeated themselves in Samurai Jack just a couple years later. This came out in 1999, I believe. The show ended, the second season anyway, ended in 1998, and that was supposed to be the end of the show, but then Genndy did this movie here and brought on a couple more people, and then they had the Chris Savano era of the show, which was seasons 3 and 4, which a lot of people don't like, which I totally understand. They changed a lot of things about the show, and it didn't quite work as well as those earlier seasons or this movie. Some of the things that I can say about this just right away is the character models are slightly redesigned from the show, but not as much in seasons 3 and 4. They really kind of revamped things in there, especially with Dexter's dad. I just remember Dexter's dad's head is like way bigger than he was in these earlier seasons, and he only makes a very brief appearance in this movie. But there is a slight redesign. They tried to make everything, I think, a little bit more high quality too. You could tell that since it had a little bit of a bigger budget, since it was supposed to be this TV movie. There's some really cool designs throughout the whole thing, though. It opens with those robots coming to fight Dexter and everything. And as we go along, we see, he goes to the future to try and see how he saves the future, because he thinks that he's the one who saved the future because these robots came back to destroy the one who saved the future. So we get to see all these different versions of what has happened to the world, with Mandark kind of taking over and things. Again, I would say that is very reminiscent of what Samurai Jack became, just the whole setting and everything, especially when we get to the big, bald, buff Dexter's time period, where it's just this desolate future. Everyone's kind of living in squalor, and Mandark is living in this giant castle, and there's a lot of red and black, and very Aku-like. And Dexter here is very much like Samurai Jack, especially in the last season that we just saw recently. Him just kind of riding on like a motorcycle or something, popping out with a giant wrench, which is kind of like, the sword that Samurai Jack has. So I'm telling you, man, a lot of these things repeat themselves later on, and Genndy's influences and sort of that repeated future thing is very prominent here. This movie is definitely more adult than the series. It's kind of gruesome in some of the details that we see in the animation. Dexter gets whipped by Mandark, and they show some of that stuff, and it's kind of surprising that they would show that way back when, but just like, the extreme close-ups you get like detail on some of the characters' faces, and you see a lot of weird imperfections and just try to gross you out. We see a lot of butt cheeks in this and stuff, so at least a little bit more adult than the show was. And it kind of reminded me of that short that they showed before the Powerpuff Girls movie about Dexter kind of, getting the chicken pox and then showing close-ups of all that stuff. It kind of reminded me of that. And in terms of the quality of the animation too, was like there's just more movement. Overall, the movie is definitely kind of weird, but it feels original. I don't remember seeing anything like that beforehand. Definitely a unique angle on things with Dexter, him saving the future and stuff. But it was really well done, I thought. The old Dexter from the far distant future is hilarious. We saw this kind of version of this Dexter. I guess it would be his grandpa in an episode of the series where he calls Dexter Billy a bunch of times. He does this too with a different version of Dexter. And just the voice they use there, that character, that version of Dexter is just really funny. Towards the end, Mandark matches Dexter with the other versions of himself from those different time periods, and it's this big 4-on-4 Dexter versus Mandark fight, which is really fun and interesting, and it was just a really cool back and forth that we got to see them tear into each other in certain parts, and it's really funny, again, seeing old Dexter argue with just the brain Mandark that's just in this glass tube thing. That's the only surviving part of Mandark is his brain, so he doesn't have a body or anything like that. So their back and forth was really funny too. The movie's packed with a lot of action, some really cool ideas. The time travel stuff's really fun. It's still a Dexter story, just bigger and bolder and everything. And I liked it a lot, but I will say it's maybe not quite as epic and amazing as I remember it being. It also felt kind of short for how big the premise was. It's this big time-spanning thing, and it's only about 50 minutes. And I know for cartoons and stuff, they always like to keep cartoon features shorter, but this just felt like there was more to this. This could have been like 2 parts at least of the same length. So I would have liked to see them delve into more detail about some of this stuff. But all in all, it's still very good, very original. I still enjoyed checking it out again after all these years. Even though it does, like I said, feel a little bit short, I would still recommend it if you guys could find it somewhere. I found it on Daily Motion is where it was. I tried looking it up on Amazon stuff. It's not streaming anywhere, even though the whole series of Dexter's Lab is streaming on iTunes and stuff. This is not. When I looked at Amazon for a DVD or something, there's only like a VHS, and it's a ton of money. So if anyone has a lead on where they can get this on DVD or if it's streaming anywhere, where you can buy it in a much higher quality than where I saw it, let me know, because I would like to maybe purchase that and watch it on DVD or Blu-ray or something. It's probably not on Blu-ray, but if it's out somewhere in an official form, I'd like to check it out. So if you guys have any leads on that, leave comments about it. And let me know what you thought of Ego Trip. Have you seen it recently? What do you remember about it the most? What are some of your favorite Dexter's Lab episodes? Make sure you go over to Channel Awesome and check out the top 5 best Dexter's Lab episodes that are up now. And you can check out some of my favorite episodes. And make sure you stay tuned for, I'm not sure when this is going to go up, probably next week. But we're going to do Hey Arnold versus Dexter's Lab. These are my 2 favorite 90s Nickelodeon Cartoon Network shows going head-to-head, and it's going to be pretty close, so make sure you have an eye out for it. I will be back here with that video very soon, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.